15 Things You Should Never Do in New Zealand. New Zealand is an island nation that comprises of two main landmasses, North Island and South Island. The country is replete with beautiful landscapes and sceneries. It will surprise you in more ways than one. Make sure to keep this list of things not to do in New Zealand handy on your excursion. Number 1. Never disrespect the kiwi. The kiwi bird is native to the country, and it also acts as the national symbol of New Zealand, which is why its people have given the moniker Kiwis. The kiwi is actually a small flightless bird, that happens to be one that the indigenous people of New Zealand, known as the Maori, have a deep respect for. The kiwi is also a symbol for the military, which is also why the native people have so much respect for it as well. Number 2. Never mistake it as a part of Australia. More often than not, many tourists actually believe that New Zealand is a part of Australia, which is honestly easy to see why. To the untrained ear and eye, the people look alike, sound alike, and much of the terrain even look alike. But New Zealanders will proudly tell you exactly what makes their country culturally rich and diverse all on its very own. Number 3. Never fake your customs declaration. For tourists visiting New Zealand, never try to fake your customs declaration. Not only are they incredibly strict about what they allow into their country, they won't be shy about slapping you with an incredibly fat fine, if you lie on your declaration card in the first place. Be sure to look up what is and is not allowed, so you don't have to worry about it from the very beginning. Number 4. Never go if you prefer the urban life. We're not saying that New Zealand doesn't have areas with bustling cities, but they still aren't as vigorous as other lively cities like New York or Los Angeles. If you're the type that prefers the urban life with tons of parties, drinking and partying until the wee hours of the morning, then New Zealand is not for you. Number 5. Never disrespect the Maori. The Maori are the native or local people of New Zealand, and they should never be disrespected. This particular indigenous group called this country home before the Europeans arrived and colonized it. They not only have their own rights and sacred land, but they speak their own native language, also known as Maori. Number 6. Never underestimate the weather. New Zealand is cold, at least to the average traveler. Even in the summertime, which is during the months of December to February, it doesn't go above 80 degrees most of the time. Never underestimate the weather, and be sure to dress in layers when you're there. That way you can pack on more clothes, if it gets cold, and take some off, if it becomes warmer than expected. Number 7. Never expect consistent internet. Like a few other countries within the Asia-Pacific region, New Zealand is considered quite remote. Depending on where you are visiting when in the country, never expect that your internet connection will be consistent. In fact, expect that many times you might have zero to very little connectivity at all. Number 8. Never think there will be crowds. Studies have shown that New Zealand has one of the lowest population densities in the world, especially considering the ratio of land to people. For many people that visit New Zealand for the first time, being in all that vastness and emptiness can make them feel incredibly isolated from the rest of the world. While for some, this can be overwhelming. Number 9. Never leave your bug repellent behind. While there are a ton of insects in New Zealand, thankfully none of them are actually deadly. But despite the fact that you can't contract dengue or malaria while visiting, it doesn't mean that you should leave your bug repellent at home. There are still tons of bugs, especially sand flies during the summer months, that are still incredibly annoying. Be sure to bring your bug spray along. Number 10. Never be on a major budget. Due to how far New Zealand is from most of the world, 7,789 miles from the United States to be exact, that means that items are usually more expensive in this part of the world. Many items become more expensive because they need to be shipped in from all over the world, raising the prices considerably, due to how much it costs to get them there in the first place. Make a proper budget that will allow you to enjoy your time without having to penny pinch. Number 11, never be irresponsible with your trash. New Zealanders take their trash throwing very seriously, especially when it comes to recycling. In fact, when people make the mistake of not disposing of their trash properly, they are made to pay very large fines depending on the offense. Considering that you're a visitor in their country as well, be sure to follow their rules or be prepared to pay these hefty fines as well. Number 12, never leave your belongings in the car. You don't have to worry that New Zealand is an unsafe place to visit, but like anywhere else in the world, petty theft and crime happens here too. When traveling anywhere in a car, don't leave items inside it when parked, especially when they are in plain sight. Number 13, never go during peak season. Just like Australia, New Zealand has their summertime during December through February, and their winter from June to August. And since many tourists like to get away from the cold winter months in their own countries, they tend to visit New Zealand to enjoy the much warmer weather. Just know that when you during these peak months, things are going to be more expensive than usual. So if you are on a tighter budget, it would probably be best to go during another time of the year. Number 14, never bike on open roads. New Zealand is full of some of the most rugged terrain, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't have its fair share of busy streets as well in the busier cities. But no matter what you do, never bike on these open roads, especially if you're not too familiar with cycling in the first place. Number 15, never try to barter. Another rule in New Zealand is to never try to barter, even though many other countries within the Asia-Pacific region do. Whatever price that people are requesting from you, regardless of what they are selling or what service they are providing, you should pay the price they are charging you because it's what they believe is fair.